My name is Tia Bowlin, and my story starts really when I was a little girl. I had a couple of abusers in my life at a very, very, very young age, before I was even in 3rd grade. So my grandfather was one of the abusers in my life. I loved my grandma so much. I loved her. I loved going to her house. I loved spending the weekends with her. When I told my mom about the abuse, of course, we confronted them, and my grandmother took my grandfather's side. That was the last time I saw them, and that hurt so much. My mom wasn't abusive necessarily. She just wasn't proactive in stopping much. So my dad abused me many ways. I saw him physically abuse my brother, and I've seen my mom have meltdowns, like mental breakdowns. My mom wasn't necessarily abusive to me. She allowed the abuse to happen. So when I was younger too, my parents got divorced at a young age. I had to go to court. I had to go and decide when I was 3 or 4 years old who I wanted to live with, my mom and her new husband or my dad. And I chose my mom, and I couldn't see my dad until I was 18. I have yet to see my dad since then. Even though that abuse ended for me at that age, other abuse started. And throughout my younger years and early teens, I really started to go down the wrong path. When I was younger, I made some bad choices. You know, I could say it was what happened to me when I was younger. I suffered with a depression at a young age. I didn't grow up in a church, in the church. My family and I, we never talked about God. I didn't know God's love. I knew of God, but I didn't know Him. When I was maybe a freshman in high school, I tried to commit suicide. I tried to commit suicide because I was so unhappy. I was so angry with the world. I was angry with the choices I have made. I was angry with the situation I was in. I didn't like money in school. My parents were abusive. They had no idea what was going on in my life. They didn't care about my grades. They didn't even know what I was taking. They didn't know where I was at on the weekends. So I felt like that was a way out for me. And truly, I was driving one day or in a car, and I saw a church marquee that said, "Suicide is a major solution to a minor problem." And I thought, how true is that? So again, God was speaking to me through a church sign. Closer to my senior year, or right around that time, I met a friend named Eva. And I started to work where Eva worked, and her boyfriend had some really great friends. One of them was Aaron Bowlin, Ace, we called him back then. And once I met Aaron, I just realized that God does have a plan for us, and He puts people in our lives for a reason. Aaron's family was so good to me. His mom became my mom because my parents and I were estranged at that time. I moved out before I even graduated high school. The week I turned 18, I was out. I wanted to get out of that life. So Aaron's mom became my mom. His grandparents became my grandparents. I hadn't seen my grandparents since I was probably 5 or 6. So I'd go up there and I would feel love from them. Mama was the definition of God's love, and she showed that to me. Being with his family and just seeing how godly they are, and I knew that I wanted that. I wanted God in my life.